What up, guys? It's the Moving Junk Guy. What's up, my fellow junkers, haulers, movers, entrepreneurs, business owners? Glad to see you back. Glad to speak with you. Hope you guys enjoyed my video last week. It's been really fun doing this journey. I'm loving it. I didn't love too much my worst junk removals from last week, but this week, talking about something different, getting a little bit more in depth into my business. So if this video is helpful for you, make sure you like, subscribe, share it, let other people know about it so they can grow as well. Same thing with the other videos, but I'll get right into it. So today's video is going to be about the 5 most important apps that I use in my business specifically. These 5 apps more or less have helped me grow my business to 6 figures and be really profitable and be really organized, which is the most important part of any business, in my opinion. I think that's what really gets it done. I think that's what really keeps customers coming in. I think that's what really gives a good representation of your business. So the number one app that I've used so far in my business, really to get started, bringing in business, is Thumbtack. If many of you don't know, Thumbtack is a lead generation app, I guess, more or less. And basically, if you're not familiar with it, it works like any other lead generation app. And there's a few out there. There's Angie's List, Home Advisor, blah, 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 blah. But Thumbtack is the one that I've used. I've had good results. I've seen on some different groups that I've been in on Facebook with junk removals, people and movers, that everyone hasn't had the same success with Thumbtack or the same good results. I don't have that story. My experience with Thumbtack has been pretty good. I probably, at the height of my Thumbtack time, I was probably spending $1,000 to $1,500 a month in leads, which would generate probably 20 to, no, I'm not gonna be that over the top, but around 15 to 20K a month in business, closing them. The most important factor in this is, if you don't have a big budget, make sure that you become an expert closer. That's the biggest part of Thumbtack. Most of the complaints that I hear about Thumbtack, even from people I know that use it, that are business owners, is that the customers either don't respond back or they're not able to close them. So you still get charged either way. So that's kind of one of the caveats and one of the cons, you could say, to Thumbtack. But that hasn't been my experience. My experience with Thumbtack has been one that has been successful. I probably close about 80 to 85% of the leads that come into me, which is a pretty high rate. And that has led me to have a pretty good revenue base and sales base from Thumbtack. So Thumbtack, make sure you get on it if you're not. It's an excellent way to start up your business, excellent way to get some business coming your way, especially when it's slow. Since then, it's helped me to build a name for myself, especially in my city, which is Philadelphia, Conshohocken area, Pennsylvania. So I highly recommend using Thumbtack, especially just to get your name out there as you're a new business, because that's the biggest thing, just to get some money rolling in. That's what I used it for. And that kind of segues into my next most important app, which is Google My Business. I use Google My Business, obviously, to put out my business so people can find it on Google, but also for the benefit of having reviews come on there. And basically, that's kind of going to be your bread and butter when it comes to complimentary services with your business. You want to always have good reviews on Thumbtack, or on Google rather, which Thumbtack also has reviews, but I try to funnel all my reviews through to Google because I think it has a better presence. I think more people are going to find you that way, things of that nature. So just through that, sending everybody to Google, I managed to get like 100 or more 5-star reviews on Google, which really helps you with the algorithms, which really helps with building your reputation, which helps which helps with winning customers. I can't tell you how many times that I've had customers call me and say, oh, I've seen you on Google. You have so many great reviews. We really want to work with you. One of the bad sides is that early on in my business right now I have employees and things like that. But early on in my business, it was really just me. So a lot of my reviews would be like, Terrence was so great. Terrence was so this. Terrence was so that. So I ran into the problem, which I guess is a good problem to have, where people would call and be like, I want Terrence on the job. And at that point, I was just like, I don't really go out too often anymore. I'm getting more out there now, as business begins to pick back up while I wait to hire new employees. But it's just funny how that works. But definitely get on Google My Business, get your reviews up, because that can be the difference between landing a lead or a client or a customer and not. And it really goes a long way. Yeah, so make sure you get on Google My Business and get started getting those reviews in. Funnel everybody through. Once you complete a job, send them the link to the thing or do it right in front of them. I don't particularly like doing that. I'm not big on asking for reviews. It's not my favorite thing to do. So I would usually just send the link after I got done. But yeah, so I highly recommend getting Google My Business. The next app that I use for my business that is very important is QuickBooks. I use that for two purposes: accounting and payments. One, obviously accounting, you're going to want to keep track of your profitability of your business. As I was saying, so that I use for accounting purposes to make sure that my business is profitable, and to keep track of my expenses and my revenue. And that's something that I've gotten into more recently, checking into that, and understanding really that the difference between really you having a lot of money coming in is not what you're actually your profitability. So I've really been getting into studying my QuickBooks numbers and just making sure that profitability is up, and I'm not just bringing in a lot of money, but also sending out a lot of money. So that's what I use QuickBooks for, and then also for payments. So after I get done a job, I go ahead and send over an invoice to the customer, allow them to pay it. I like QuickBooks payment processing because I'm able to do instant payouts, and I'm also able to just do regular payments sent to my bank account. I prefer the instant. I have a little bit of an instant gratification thing going on, so I typically do instant payout and just send it right to my account. And I like their software. It's not very expensive. I think it's 1%. Right in line with some of the other payment processors, Square, PayPal, things like that. I've used all those. I prefer QuickBooks because everything's all in one place, with my accounting and with my sales and income coming in. So that is the third one that I use. The fourth app that helps my business really run efficiently and effectively is a app called RingCentral. It's a business phone software. They provide you with two different numbers, which you can transfer numbers over. When I first started, I used Google Voice, and I used a phone number for that. And then I found that I wanted they call it a virtual assistant. Basically, it's that answering machine type of service that you hear when you call a business, where it's like, you've reached so-and-so, thank you for calling us. If you'd like to speak to the accounting department, press 1. If you'd like to speak to Jewel, press 2. If you'd like to speak to Jill, press 3. So that's what that is. They had that software available, so I went with them. And it's helped my business a lot because it really allows you to field calls while they come in. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times early on we use our phones for both business and pleasure, and I found myself getting into a lot of mess with not knowing if it's a business call or a personal call coming in. I've recently switched to having two separate phones, one business phone and one personal phone, which has helped out a lot. So I don't always get confused with what's a business call, and I'm not always picking up my phone. Like, if, for instance, if I'm out to dinner or, you know, with my wife or my kids or whatever. So that's very helpful. So Ring Central does all that. One of the great features that they have is that when someone calls, you can see which number they pick. So for my business phone, number 1 is for a moving quote. Number 2 is for a junk removal quote. Number 3 is for if you already have something scheduled, if you have questions about it. And number 4 is for general inquiries. So I can always see what is coming in, if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that kind of allows me to answer it according to what it's going to be, and I know what I have coming to me. And yeah, so I love that. I love that app. It's great. It helps me out a lot. The last app that I use for my business is something that I recently started using after seeing a lot of good reviews, seeing a lot of people using it in some of the groups that I'm in on Facebook. It's called House Call Pro. I use it for my booking and my jobs. It's a great app. There are some limitations to it, but, you know, have no fear. You find limitations and you you figure a way around it. One of the caveats and the limitations to in my industry of moving, on the moving side, it's great for junk removal because everything is kind of just built in. You can just plug and play, put your prices, blah, blah, and just go. It's easy. But for moving, they don't have a hourly option. As everyone doesn't use hourly for moving, but we use hourly in my business. So that was one of the things that I had to find a workaround for. The workaround was that you just put a hourly rate and then you just use it as a one-piece quantity, so at each, essentially. And then you just, you know, add those up and that'll be your hourly rate. So it's a pretty easy workaround. It's been working pretty well. I've been using it for about a month now. My profitability has gone up highly. I mean, besides the booking side of it, when you finish a job, you just click finish. You can schedule your workers out to specific jobs. You can schedule other people to different things, put time, addresses, all that good stuff. It's pretty intuitive. It's a pretty good, easy to use app. So I like it for those reasons. Also, the big other thing that I like is its compatibility with Google and online booking. And then also, as soon as you get done and you click complete job, it sends a Google review out automatically to the customer. So since I started using it a month ago, my Google reviews have been up like 20%, which is great because you want to keep on adding on to that and building onto that momentum. So House Call Pro is dope. I like it a lot and I highly recommend it. And those are the 5 apps that I use to run my business, essentially. Obviously there's a couple more, but those are the really cornerstones, the important apps that I use. So again, Thumbtack for leads, Google My Business for reviews and posting my business, QuickBooks for accounting and payment, Square or Ring Central, which is for my business phone, and House Call Pro for booking. If you guys have any further questions, if you want more details, if you want more videos on any of these ones or my experiences, feel free to leave it in the comments. And again, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. And I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Have a good week. Make sure you get out there and get it, guys.